Hello lovely people, welcome to our tarot reading for the week of the 12th of December. I hope you've had a good week and it hasn't been too cold for you. I must say I have been absolutely loving the gorgeous hoarfrost that we've had. We haven't had any snow here, but the hoarfrost is absolutely spectacular. So let's see what the cards have in store for us this week. Okay. Right, so, we have the Empress, lovely. And then we have the High Priestess. And we have the Nine of Air, otherwise known as the Nine of Swords. So today I'm using these cards here, which is the Good Tarot. I like to chop and change them a little bit, and these are gorgeous cards. Right, so we have two major arcana cards here today, and then a minor arcana card. So the major arcana cards are very much about our psyche, you know, this sort of spiritual motivations behind our behavior, if you like. So just looking at this overall, it's quite interesting, the sort of how, you know, we're starting with the Empress and ending with the Nine of Air. So basically the Empress is very much about manifestation and creation. So the Empress is about birth to new ideas and experiences, and very much about stepping into a sort of new version of yourself. So this version would be rich and ripe with possibilities for manifesting and for creation. So what the Empress is doing is she's this energy is reminding us that the world is brimming with potential, and that you are nurtured and safe, and that you have everything you need, including access to all the abundance that you need. So it's very much about, you know, an energy that it's reminding us of. So when the Empress appears, and as it does, it's telling us today that there is something important in your life that needs to feel loved and nurtured and protected in order to thrive. So my question would be, like, what part of your life needs nurturing? What part of your life needs protection right now? So the Empress sees the big picture, the external context of every situation, whether it's the beginning, the middle, and even beyond. So it's about sort of seeing situations in the context of the eternal. And because this is a great remedy for fear. The Empress reminds us that we have so much purpose in our existence than our fears would have us believe. And this is really interesting, you know, when you think about what we are going to be seeing with these next two cards as well. So the Empress embodies comfort and love and understanding. And she reminds us that there is more than enough for everybody. And so the Empress is also very much about our attitudes to receiving, that we don't have what we deserve, we have what we believe we deserve, and that unworthiness can block the flow of abundance. So therefore, in that case, then asking and receiving can become associated with shame and guilt and fear and even punishment. So the Empress invites us to cultivate regard for seeing our own needs and wants provided, because that would encompass self-love. And if we live prosperously, then we will, you know, selflessly give and share what we have. And I think this is really interesting, because if we skip over here to the Nine of Air, the Nine of Air is very much about what we believe and what's in our minds and the thoughts that we have. And this card is very much associated with self-loathing and guilt and shame and fear. So it's quite interesting that we have these two cards sandwiching then the High Priestess. Now the High Priestess is very much our deep inner knowing. It's basically it's about like some things are just not meant to be known intellectually, but are meant to be experienced through intuition. So I don't know if you've ever experienced sort of like, you find out, you realize you know something, and you don't know how you know. You just do. You just know. And this card is a reminder to trust that you have access to higher wisdom and knowing when to tune in and trust your vibes. So it's the personification of wisdom and inner knowing and, trusting trusting your gut instinct. So you know far more than you actually, you know far more than you think you know. And it's important to push away that endless chattering, that rational mind that is constantly going nip, 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 nip there. And you will see that in this card as well, in the Nine of Air. So my question would be, now, do you trust yourself and do you trust your instincts? Or are you more distracted by anxiety? And are you confusing your fear with feelings, causing you not to trust your instincts? So the High Priestess is the keeper of your deepest wisdom. And the High Priestess appears to, when it's time to guide you, to back your instincts, to understand that you mustn't let the what ifs rule and fear, because your fears are not your instincts. And to know the difference, just check your body. Fears will make you feel tight and anxious, whereas instincts will make you feel sharp and clear and empowered to act. So really, have a good body check to kind of figure out which is which. So don't hold back. This card is telling you to express yourself and to engage. And it's a really, it's a really great card to remind you about the times when you have had hunches about a person or a situation and they've proved correct. Certainly, I have had so many of these situations where I've had a thought or an idea and I don't know where it comes from, so I just get a feeling about something or about somebody, and inevitably, those I've been right. But if you asked me how I knew any of that, I'd have said, like, I really don't know. I don't know how. I just know that I did. So this it's also kind of important, to kind of practice emotional detachment, because when you're very emotionally involved, then this is where the sort of kind of chitter chatter comes in, and it's telling you stuff that's not true. So, basically, maybe it's a good time to ask yourself, like, when have you been intuitively directed to say nothing? So it's a very interesting card, this. It's a very interesting combination. And we have now here the Nine of Air, which is also the Nine of Swords. Now, the sword suit is a suit that most represents conflict and chaos and destructive energy. And which is very interesting because you're looking, it's here you have the Empress, which is all about possibility and manifestation and creation, and this is all about the mind. This is all about, the way we think and the results of that thinking and where our thoughts can actually lead us. So the the swords, the air suit represents the mind and our thoughts and attitudes and our subconscious. So, like thoughts are like powerful seeds. What you will, you have to ask yourself here, like, what are you going to plant? What are you going to rehearse? And what perspective will you take for the highest good of all? Will you shift from reactive and victimized to being responsible? Because that's really what your mind is capable of doing. Now, the 9 of air is the 9 of swords. It's a card where you're really at breaking point. And it's where you feel guilt about the past and anxiety about the present and dread for the future. It's about self-recrimination, it's about self-pity, endless mental replaying of unpleasant moments long gone. It's about basically introspection just gone berserk. So, maybe you could talk about what's keeping you up at night and explore the beliefs that are underlying your fears, because that's what they are. And scary thoughts, but they don't really exist. You're so much stronger than your inner saboteur. So if you, it's very important to think when you have, lots of negative thoughts, to remember that these are just thoughts. They're not real. They're just thoughts. And it's a narrative that exists only in your head. And therefore, you do have the power and the control to change that narrative. This is a really important card. It's a really important card for all of us, and particularly if you suffer from anxiety. So this card is about your inner saboteur, and the more you affirm your inner saboteur with these thoughts, the more it will thrive on them. And so if you're sort of telling yourself and thinking about self-loathing, and if you're thinking about guilt and thinking about your shame and thinking about your fear, and oh my gosh, there are so many people paralyzed with fear. It's that's what's going on. This is your inner saboteur at work, and you are feeding it with these thoughts. So this card is coming up, it's telling you, turn it off and transfer your attention to loving yourself, Empress, and to respecting how far you've come, Empress. So it's about, this card is reminding you to affirm your value to yourself. And if you do that, the shadow will lose all its power. So today, I want you to stand up to your shadow thinking. When it says you can't do something, just do it. Do it anyway. When it says you should feel like crap, go and do something really nice for someone. That will make you feel good. And remind yourself, you are enough. You are the Empress. And there is so much to go around here. There is no need to feel all of these fears. Go back into your High Priestess energy and cut out all of that inner chatter. Just get really nice and quiet with yourself. Do what it is you need to do to make you feel calm. And when you're getting all of this chatter about, oh, if I do this is going to happen, or oh gosh, what if, oh, stop it. You can stop it. You can say to yourself, oh, look where I'm heading. Look what I'm doing to myself. Stop it. I can change this. I am going to change this. I am going to think about something else, and think about whatever it is that will make you feel happy or funny or silly or something, to move away from this. So these 3 cards are like, these are the cards that are speaking very deeply to your psyche and telling you what you're capable of and what you can do. And this is your card of every day-to-day living behavior. And this card is saying, stop it. Stop this narrative. Stop feeding this inner saboteur, and go back to taking care of yourself, which is all about the Empress energy. So it's lovely advice really coming from this reading. So now this is our reading for this week. We've come to the end of it once again, and if it resonates with you, do please leave me a comment below. You can also subscribe to this channel to be notified for the next reading, and if you would like to know more, you can book a private reading with me. I would love to hear from you. You can find my email address at the end of this description of my video. So lovely people, I'm going to leave you and love you once again, and talk to you again next week. Lots of love.